What's up, everyone, and welcome to Clear Talk. So today we are going to be talking about Biden and his pathway to election 2024. How I think it's going so far. What issues or ailments are in his way, um, and whether or not I think what's his chances of actually winning, and if he did, what would happen, or if he didn't, what might happen. So uh, let's get into it. So, all right. So today, sorry about that. My phone went off when I was trying to figure it out. Today, so with Biden, when it comes to him, and how he is doing so far, uh, I feel like at first, I feel like his chances as this whole thing goes along is getting more and more um uh it's getting weaker basically by the day, especially since October 7th. And he has and he already had his challenges. He already had the challenges of his age. People worried about him being able to, even if he did become president, making it through, the 4 years. I mean, he originally he wasn't supposed to even go for another term. And when he got it the first time, he basically said himself that he was a 4 year and out president. They were hoping to map the road for Kamala or somebody else, and unfortunately, that hasn't happened. Um, uh, he was able to get some pretty decent things done domestically uh, throughout so far. Through the first half of it, whether when it come to the infrastructure bill, when it come to, and so far here recently, the past few months, when it come to like debt relief for college students, things like that, for college loans and whatnot, debt, loan debt relief, um, and some medical things too, although those are very minor. Um, and so there have been stuff that has been good. The NRLB, when it comes to workers' rights, has been really well done, actually done exceptionally well. Um, if I would actually argue that's probably his best thing he's done, uh, but or helped get implemented. Uh, but it's clearly for me has not been enough. Um, and there are other areas where he has certainly lacked. I feel that there's a whole lot of hate on him when it comes to the border. I really don't understand why, because he basically has done the exact same thing Trump was doing when it comes to the border, uh, and he has deported more people at the border than Trump did in his 4 years already. So I don't understand really. Republicans honestly should be happy about his um, priorities and his policies towards the border, because honestly he's just been a typical Republican when it comes to the border. It's not open. People are coming across as they always have. And there have been times where there has been a lot of them, but there's also the fact that there's just a lot of people coming. Um, but there are definitely issues with that. The pathway to citizenship, how it's judicialized. There's a lot of things that need to be improved, and he hasn't even attempted to do that. Uh, Especially not from a left leaning side, opinion. Um, so I don't really understand that. He actually should be getting shit tons of love when it comes to the border, but uh, Republicans half the time are just in their little bubble that they just don't even realize what's truly actually going on, and because they hear other things, being said, and they just believe them, and they don't actually do any research. Um, so and I haven't agreed with I don't personally agree with what's going on at the border. It certainly needs to be fixed, but it needs to be handled in a different way. Um, but we're talking about election, so that I feel like he was working well at first, and the problem with the DNC and his campaign is that they do not. Uh, Democrats have a ridiculously bad um, practice of actually talking about what they've done, and the messaging about all the positive things that they've done is it's like they just don't they just they're horrible at it. They're horrible at messaging. Period. Um, uh, they just sit there and take stuff from the other side and all the messaging that's coming at them, whether it be true or not. And most of the time, it's actually not, but they still don't rebuke it or try to prove otherwise. So it just makes them look even guiltier. Um, but yeah, they just have horrible messaging. So it was already that's what's got him even towing with Trump in the first place. And then October 7th happened, and it's just been a shit show since. Uh, at first, it was probably not that big a deal. The initial reaction, although was, uh, in my opinion, wrong. You could, the first few days, you could kind of understand, you know, and sympathize to some degree with the reaction. Um, but since then, it's just way out of hand, and has just been way too big. And I will have a video strictly on several videos strictly on the conflict over there. Um, but when it comes to Biden specifically, his just complete support for what's going on over there has little by little just killed his any messaging that he has or had, and it's not going well for him domestically. Um, Especially particularly with the younger crowd, which is what he needs in order to win. The older crowd were already with him for the most part. The stereotypical side of the older groups that just tend to vote that way, um, and tend to be in their knowledge bubble or information bubbles. Um, they were already going to vote for him. What he needed was the younger vote. And he at this point has basically just ruined the younger vote. Because the problem with that is your older group tends to mostly focus in on the your regular medias, your mainstream medias, your CNNs, your MSNBCs, and all that kind of stuff. Your main, corporate news conglomerates, and then so they're getting force fed a certain propaganda and line of rhetoric that more than likely in most cases um, is in line with Biden and his uh, coalition in Washington and how they've been wording this whole thing. Um, Now there has been um there has been some fallouts in main regular media with some people, at especially at this late date, and when it's just so blatantly obvious that um this is out of hand, and something needs to happen. uh that you do have those that eventually just crack. They can't take it anymore. They can't continue to say, the BS, and so they're just like, you know, F it. I'm gonna, I'm gonna start asking the proper questions here. Um, but your younger crew is more fixated to social medias, and a little bit more, has a little bit more, uh, and better access to information. Um, and there, you just can't help. It's all in your face when you're, that's something that is just, uh, it's like Israel and the things that has been said, and the way that it almost feels like they think media is translated, or is um perceived by people. It's like they are still living in like the 90s or something. And it's like they or even the early 2000s. It's like they haven't quite grasped that we see this stuff. It is live, and it's all over the place. It's not hard to find, the videos, and it's not hard to identify what's truly going on, and see through um the propaganda that you're trying to feed. It's like and the problem with our own government is that they, even though they don't, they pretend like they're not completely like in line, and that they know better. Like, it's like they know that what's coming out of there, and how they're trying to word it from over there, is not really clicking, and it's not going to click. But it's like they still want to some degree, you know be like, I mean, yeah, it's not exactly right, but I mean, it's like they're pretending like, well, yeah, it's in the realm of what's going on. It's not, is it completely like that? No, I mean, it's not all, but we're still going to support them because, you know, whatever. And so it's just bad. It's bad all around. Your younger, um, your younger, uh, citizens, and the access that they have to information, and widespread information, from all kinds of sources. Uh, they're not stupid, and it's like we're screaming at the top of our lungs, like, we see it. We're not dumb. You can't get over on us, and we want this to stop. We want something to happen, and it needs to stop now. And we're not going to support you, even though you want our support, and we would want to support you morally and mentally. We just can't get there. You know, um, we can't support that, and that's his problem right now. Is the bleeding support from the younger generation just not being able to take it anymore. As badly as they know a Trump presidency and believe a Trump presidency would create a shit ton of more chaos and, quite frankly, would be even worse um, than Biden on this issue. Uh, because even though Biden has just ultimately given all support he can to Israel, Trump and the MAGA side are pretending and acting like he isn't doing anything, like he's some kind of traitor to Israel, and that he isn't doing enough. It's like, just passively supporting what is being considered a genocide is not good enough. You got to full on support it. You got to be like, yes, we support genocide, and we're going to continue to. So it's in a time where he should not be having a problem, he is. And it's quite honestly pathetic. So that's his conflicts, um, which at this point completely overshadow his age, even though that's still a concern too. It completely just overshadowed his age. It's like people don't even care anymore that he's old as hell, and that his mind, what cocktails is being given to him just to get through the day, or what would have to be given to him to get through the next 4 years. But it's this. So his prospects for November, they're getting weaker and weaker. It's getting harder and harder to realize or distinguish between who actually could win. And if he does win, I don't think anything will change. The status quo will continue. He might. I mean, there's potential for what few good things he has done for him to maybe expand a little bit on them domestically, but his foreign policies are just I can't get behind. I won't get behind. Um, and yeah, if he doesn't win, it's only going to get worse. So it's like I don't really see it getting much better if he wins, as far as just the overall picture of what's currently going on. But I know if he doesn't win, it's going to get much worse. Uh, but still, but so it's like we're between a rock and a hard place for me, and for people I think who are the political, you know, lane that I am. It's hard. It's hard for us to uh, get behind them. It's hard for us to not get behind them. And so it's just like, but at the same time, we would love to have another candidate, but they've got it so rigged that a third party is almost impossible to win. Uh, Especially a third party that is of my leaning, or people like me, progressive leaning. So, uh, yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty much what I feel. If he doesn't win, it's going to get worse. Um, but if he does win, I'm still not going to be happy. Uh, so that's pretty much it. Um, and I don't really look forward to something happening to him and Kamala taking over. Uh, because although she has had some rhetorical, like, she has said better things about this issue than he has. I don't think she's completely on his side with how he has supported the conflict, but I don't really know that she would do much different, you know. Um, and I certainly don't trust her in domestic stuff. So, uh, I'm not too happy about that. Um, and although I didn't really even say it in Trump's video, Trump hasn't picked somebody yet. Um, although we see here recently, because you have some prospects, right? You have, uh, I think Haley's potentially there, even though she's acted like she wouldn't want to anything to do with it, or at least she acted like it up until this past week. And then all of a sudden, she, out of the blue, you know, kind of threw around the fact that, yeah, I'm probably going to vote for him. And it's like, wait a minute, you had all this hate and you've talked all these bad things about him and all, you know, all this stuff, but you're still gonna back him. You're still gonna, and I think that's because she's trying to get in his good graces because she actually feels like she has a chance at the VP pick. I think that's the only reason why she's kissing ass at the moment. And you got Tulsi Gabbard also, which she's been little by little measling her way in there. That's been one of the absolute biggest disappointments for me over the past 4 years. Seeing her just completely 180, um, pathetic. And anybody like her, like Fetterman and stuff, it's pathetic. Uh, and I hate that I even ever defended anyone like that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's about the way it is. Uh, so bad choices all around, and trying to figure out what's the least of the bad choices. So anyway, thank you very much, and yeah, like, subscribe, comment if you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. What are Biden's chances? How are things going for him? Do you agree with me that his chances are getting slimmer and slimmer? Um, do you agree or disagree with how he's handling the conflict? Uh, what do you think his chances are? Is that his worst chance, or is the fact that his age is actually his worst thing? Um, and uh, yeah, just let me know. Let me know what you think. So thank you very much. Clear Talk. Peace. I'm out.